Patch and Benny's paper discovery. In the heart of the Enchanted Forest, Patch and Benny were enjoying a peaceful day playing hide-and-seek among the tall trees and colorful flowers. But their tranquility was abruptly disrupted by the sounds of noisy construction equipment echoing through the forest.
What's happening?
Benny asked, his ears twitching with concern. Patch's tail drooped as he replied,
I don't know, Benny, but it's making the forest feel strange.
As they followed the noise, they were shocked to find a group of humans cutting down trees and clearing the forest to make way for a paper mill.
Oh no.
Benny said, his eyes filled with sadness.
This is terrible. The animals who live here will lose their homes.
Benny's heart sank as he gazed at the scene before him, a once thriving forest now being cleared for development. The cacophony of chainsaws and heavy machinery echoed through the air, drowning out the natural symphony of the woods. His eyes welled up with sadness as he thought about the innocent creatures that called this place home. Each species had carved out its own niche within the ecosystem, and now, their homes were being torn apart. Perched high on a branch, a family of squirrels chattered in distress, their intricate nests woven into the tree's canopy suddenly exposed to the open sky. One by one, their carefully constructed drays were dismantled, leaving them vulnerable and displaced. The tiny paws that once scampered playfully now clung to the remnants of their disrupted homes, fear evident in their wide eyes. Further down, a burrow complex that had housed generations of rabbits was under imminent threat. The intricate network of tunnels provided safety from predators and shelter from the elements. But now, the bulldozers were leveling the ground, collapsing their underground haven. Frantic bunnies darted in all directions, their once secure retreats now exposed and crumbling. In a nearby pond, a chorus of frogs had fallen silent. Lily pads, which had served as both resting spots and breeding grounds, were being cleared away. The amphibians' familiar croaks were replaced by the mechanical roar of the machines. Without their aquatic foliage, the frogs had lost their shelter and camouflage, making them easy targets for predators. High above, a pair of red-tailed hawks circled in confusion. Their treetop eyrie, a site where they had raised generations of chicks, was now just a memory. The tall trees that held their nest had been felled, leaving the raptors to search desperately for a new nesting site. The sky, once their canvas, now seemed more uncertain and dangerous than ever. Near the forest's edge, a family of deer stood frozen, their usual grazing grounds now transformed into a construction site. The underbrush they relied on for cover had been mercilessly cleared, leaving them exposed to both human activity and potential predators. The loss of their natural habitat left them bewildered, forced to adapt to a world that was rapidly changing around them. As Benny took in these heart-wrenching scenes, he knew he couldn't stand idly by. With determination in his eyes, he realized that he had to raise awareness about the devastating impact of forest clearing on these innocent creatures. Through education and advocacy, he hoped to inspire change and protect the homes of these animals, ensuring that their habitats would remain intact for generations to come. Susan, who had come to visit the Enchanted Forest once more, saw the devastation and felt a deep pang of sorrow. She knew they had to do something to save the forest and its precious inhabitants.
Patch, Benny, we need to learn more about what's happening,
Susan said.
Maybe if we understand why they're cutting down the trees, we can find a way to help.
They decided to approach the Forestry Crew and ask about their activities. The Forestry Crew explained that they were building a paper mill to make paper from the trees in the forest.
But why do you need so much paper?
Susan asked curiously. The Forestry Crew explained that paper was used for many things like books, newspapers, and writing, but they never realized the impact their actions were having on the forest and its residents. Patch and Benny exchanged worried glances.
We need to find a solution,
Patch said,
or the forest will never be the same.
They sought the advice of Oliver, the wise old owl, who knew a lot about the ways of humans. He explained how paper was made and how important it was to conserve trees for the health of the planet.
Paper is made from wood pulp,
Oliver said,
which comes from trees. When forests are cut down to make paper, it disturbs the habitats of many animals, like birds, squirrels, and deer. Without trees, the animals lose their homes, and the forest loses its beauty and balance.
Benny furrowed his brow.
Is there another way to make paper without cutting down trees?
he asked.
Yes.
Oliver replied.
There are ways to make paper from recycled materials like old paper and cardboard.
Susan was inspired.
Let's gather all the animals and the forestry crew together,
she suggested.
We can tell them about recycling paper and find a way to protect the forest.
Patch, Benny, and Susan rallied the animals of the forest and the forestry crew working on the paper mill. They shared the knowledge Oliver had passed on to them and explained the importance of preserving the enchanted forest. The forestry crew were surprised and moved by the animals' plea to save their homes. They decided to explore the possibility of using recycled materials for paper production. As Patch, Benny, and Susan celebrated the success of their efforts to protect the enchanted forest, they continued to explore alternatives to using paper. They knew that reducing paper usage was essential for the well-being of the forest and the environment. They gathered all the animals in the forest once more, along with the forestry crew from the nearby village, to discuss eco-friendly alternatives to using paper. One of the villagers, Mr. Green, who was passionate about environmental conservation, spoke up.
There are many alternatives to using paper that are kinder to the environment,
he said.
Let me share some of them with you.
1. Digitalization. Mr. Green explained that many tasks that traditionally required paper could be done digitally. For instance, instead of printing and distributing physical newsletters, they could use email newsletters. This way, they would save trees and reduce paper waste.
2. Recycled paper products.
Susan chimed in.
We've already started using recycled paper, but we can also look for products made from other recycled materials. For example, we can use notebooks made from recycled plastic or bags made from recycled fabric.
3. Reusable and washable. Instead of using paper towels or napkins, we can use cloth towels and washable cloth napkins. They can be reused many times, reducing the need for disposable paper products.
4. Plant-based and biodegradable. We can look for paper alternatives made from plant-based materials, like bamboo or hemp. These materials grow quickly and are more sustainable. Also, they are biodegradable, so they won't harm the environment when discarded.
5. Electronic communication. For our forest gatherings and communication, we can use electronic devices like tablets and smartphones to share information. We can even create a forest chat group to stay connected.
As the discussion continued, the humans and the animals of the enchanted forest were inspired to embrace these eco-friendly alternatives. They made a pledge to reduce their paper usage and adopt more sustainable practices. The humans from the village set up a community program to promote eco-friendly practices, including recycling and using reusable products. They invited Susan and the animals to participate, and together, they taught the villagers about the importance of protecting the forest and the environment. The forest animals also volunteered to help collect recyclable materials from the village and bring them to the recycling center. They felt a sense of pride in contributing to the conservation efforts and maintaining the harmony of the enchanted forest. Over time, the forest became a model of sustainable living, and its enchanting beauty only grew as more trees were planted and the wildlife thrived.